Hello and welcome to this tutorial, everybody. Today we're going to go and create a game which will involve navigation and selection from the VR perspective. So what we are going to do is we'll create a game like this in which we'll be randomly creating objects, fruits mainly, and they'll be spawning up on the air in the air, and they will have a life of about 2 to 3 seconds, after which they'll be self-destroyed. However, what we will be doing in this game, we'll be maintaining score, and if we hit them, using this the reticle, which you see the white dot in between our screen, if we hit them through a reticle, we can destroy them and our score will increase. It's a very good, cool and quick game which we can create in VR. It's going to be your first VR game which you can create yourself in Unity. It will involve navigation and selection. Okay, so let's go ahead and create this. So I'm going to go a new project is what I'm going to select. I'm going to say hit fruits, create project, take a few seconds. Okay, first of all we will start with creating 3 new objects. Let's create a sphere, another sphere, should not be under its hierarchy, so let's please make sure it's not under it. If it's gone under it, you can conveniently pull it out like this. If it's under it, you can pull it out, it's going to come out. And then the third one, I'm going to create a capsule which will more look like a watermelon. The first one is my apple, the second one is an orange, the third one is a watermelon. So first one, let's separate them all together so we can see them separately. Okay, what I also need to do is I need to go ahead and create 3 new folders for scripts, materials, and prefabs. So I create 3 new materials for prefabs, 3 new folders for prefabs and materials and scripts. So let's go ahead and create a new material for my all fruits. Create a right click and create material, call it apple matte, which is apple material. Generally, let's say we need a red color apple, so we drag and drop this on the apple. Then we're gonna go create another material for orange, and should be orange MAT, so we can see what's the difference. This is a material, not the actual prefab. Orange is, well, generally orange, so we drag and drop this on orange. Looks yellowish here, but it's actually orange when I selected orange. Yep. So we drag and drop this on our orange. And then watermelon. For watermelon, I'm going to create a new material which will look green. Watermelon matte should be greenish. Well, it's at least green from the outside, and that's our watermelon. And this is my watermelon. I can rotate it on the z-axis, so it looks like it's just kept on the floor, watermelon. And I can resize it also if it's too large, much like an Irani watermelon but now it's a little more realistic. Okay, so please make sure you keep saving your game. I keep saving your game, okay, my game. So I'm gonna go to the main folder, and now what I want to do, I want to create a new 3D object called cube, which will be serving as my floor. So I'll bring it a little down, resize it to little bigger, actually a lot bigger, so my fruits can come on it. Yeah, and you can also just select all fruits and push them a little up in the air, and cube is actually my floor. And then I'm going to go back to the materials folder and create 1 new material for my floor material, and give it any color you like, blue, green, whatever, etc. So I can drag and drop this over here. It hits my eyes very hard. So what about this blue? Okay, it is a gradient color, I don't mind. Okay, so hurts my eyes, I don't know why. Lesser hues maybe. Okay, anyway, this is my floor material. Now you can see when I play, this is what I see. I'm still not content with my floor color. Okay, okay, let's give, no, it's orange. We have an orange fruit. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now the thing is, when you have these fruits, you should also have some rigid body on them. So I'll just select apple and orange and watermelon, pressing shift, and I'll add component. Rigid body is what I will search over here, and I'll add rigid body in all of these things. What will happen now is when you click play, they'll come down and hit on the floor. Yeah, they'll come down and hit the floor. Okay, that's about it. Now what else I want to do is I want to add force on my fruit. So I'll create a new script called fruit, and I'll declare new variable called public float vertical force is equal to 400.0f, and public float horizontal force is equal to 100.0f. Okay, whenever this is instantiated, whenever it is created, I will add force onto it. For that I need to get access to its rigid body. So I'll say rigid body, yeah, our body, give it any variable name, is equal to get component rigid body. Oops. Yeah, so we get a component, get the component rigid body, and then we'll add force to the our body. Our body will add force, and when you add force, just do it like this. Give some space so you can create a new vector. New vector. We are creating vector 3. So the x-axis will be horizontal force, y will be vertical force, z will be 0. Okay, let's save this. I save my script. Make sure no semicolon in the end because the semicolon is here. It's just continuing that, and I want to go ahead and add the fruit script on my apple and orange and watermelon. So you'll see there will be some force added to them every time they're created. Yeah, force added. That's right, force added to them, but it's always stagnant force. It's never changing. So now what we can do, I want to add random force on them. So what I will do is, instead of horizontal and vertical fixed, what I will do is I'll add random force on x and random force on y, and z I'll just leave at 0. So I'll come here and I'll say random.range, and it'll obviously take two parameters. I'll give it minus horizontal force, comma, positive horizontal force, which is by default there already. So this is my horizontal force, which is random. So let's see what happens now on the x-axis. Well, they all go at a different direction at a different place. It should be different direction. Yeah, you see that? Whenever they are instantiated, so not going together at one place together, they can also hit each other. So that's horizontal. Maybe I'm gonna increase that to 200 minus, so that's a bigger, broader range of minus 200 to plus 200. Yeah, Okay, the next thing I want to do is vertical force is also not fixed. I want to make it 100 comma vertical force in a random range also. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, so vertically they can also be random force applied on them. There you go, it's sitting on the top of the watermelon. Okay, there we are. Now what we do want to do is, this is fruits.cs and it's okay. What we also want to do is make these as our prefabs. We want them to be instantiated continuously and we don't see them in our scene in the beginning. So apple, orange, watermelon, I drag and drop under my prefabs folder. You want to do that one by one. Okay, I'll do it one by one. Apple, orange, watermelon. And now you also delete them from the scene. So you can leave them there, but it's better to delete from the scene because we are gonna go create a game controller which will actually control how they are instantiated. So let's right click and create a new empty object. We will call it game controller. Game controller, and correspondingly there's a script also which we will be adding here now. Game controller script. Whenever you create a new script, please make sure you start by capital letter. That's a very good naming convention. Game controller starts by capital G. Fruit start with capital F. Now when you come to game controller, what you do want to do is you want to instantiate these fruits. So we will instantiate these fruits using an array. So let's say we create a game object array. I say my fruits, camelback that, my fruits, and I'll make it public so I can actually access it from outside. Public. So what this will do if you save it is if you click on game controller and you add the game controller script on it, or here also, you'll see there's my fruit. If you expand it, it'll ask you size. What's the size of the array? And I'll say 3. And now what you can do is you can drag and drop apple and orange and watermelon to the array. Okay, so I've got apple, orange and watermelon inside this array. When it is there, what I will do is I will instantiate randomly any one of these. So instantiate my fruit, and if you see, if I just write 0 for this, for just showing you what it does, whenever the game starts, and since this is in the starter, it will only be done once. It will instantiate apple and apple, and with a random force, apple with a random force. Why apple? Because I said add the one which is at 0, and what is at 0? You will see here element 0 is apple, so always apple. So what I do want to do is I want to make that random, so I will remove that 0 and I'll say random dot range 0 comma 2 3. Let's see what happens now. Let's play. There is an error. It looks like it. Okay, random dot range is this my fruit. Yeah, this should be this bracket, and this was, I believe, correct. My random dot range should be round brackets. Okay, so when I play this, I will see there's an apple this time, the next time there should be an orange, the next time it's random basically. Apple again because it is one of the 3, orange again, and watermelon should also come at some time. If you start it, there you go, there's our watermelon. Okay, so it's a random fruit it is adding. That's a game controller. That's good. However, it is not instantiating again. So what I will do is I will actually copy and paste this, actually cut and paste this into my update method, and if I run this now, it will create lots of random fruits for me at random forces. Okay, so I don't need a fruit market. What I do need is for it to create for me fruit at every 3 seconds. So let's do that. Public float timer is equal to initialize by 3 because I want to create it. I wanted to create fruits for me every 3 seconds and not continuously. So I will, in the update which runs continuously, I will come and I will reduce the time to time.delta time. So what it'll do, 3 seconds, next time it will come to update, whatever the difference is, it will remove that time. So if, for example, it comes after zero point 0.1 second, so it will become 2.9 the timer. The next time it will become 2.8, the next time 2.7, 2.6, 2.5, until it becomes 0. So when it becomes 0, that's the moment I want to catch. So I say if timer is less than or equal to 0, you instantiate. Okay, so I'll just open the bracket and I'll say if timer is less than or equal to 0, you instantiate, the game controller should instantiate a fruit. Which fruit? A random fruit. Which at what force? A random force. You see this script in the fruit is actually adding random force, but the game controller will instantiate a random force. So too much random over here we are doing. So it will be instantiating after 3 seconds. However, there is still a problem. If you see, it will stop for 3 seconds, it will pause, wait for 1, 2, 3, and there will be one fruit, but it will never stop again. So what you should be doing is that you should initialize here again with 3. Timer is equal to 3 again. Okay, now every 3 seconds it will be instantiating a new fruit with a random force, fruit with a random force, fruit with a random force, basically a random fruit with a random force. Okay, oranges, too many oranges and too many watermelons. Now we have an apple. Okay, so that's our game controller. Then we also don't want our fruits to be living an unlimited life, so we'll say destroy after 3 seconds or 5 seconds is what we want to do. So I'll say destroy after, I'm naming this, you can name it anything else you like. Something similar we have done in game controller already, but we will do it here again just to apply it on the prefabs. So I'll say public in float life is equal to 3.0 f, life of these poor fruits. So I'll say life minus equal to time dot delta time, and if life is less than equal to 0, then destroy myself. Yeah, destroy game object with a small g, because this is referring to myself. Destroy game object, and now when I play it, you will see it will create a fruit 1, 2, 3. It won't be destroyed because I'm yet to apply my script on the prefabs. Okay, let's come back to the prefab. Watermelon, add component, scripts, destroy after 3 seconds. Add component for the orange, also destroy after 3 seconds. Apple also destroys after 3 seconds. If I play it now, you will see it will well, first of all, it will instantiate after 3 seconds, it will let it live for 3 seconds, and it will then destroy after 3 seconds. So that's what we really want to do. Okay, so now what we want to do, we want to import a package called Google VR Unity package. You import it, double click it and import it. I just imported already, so whatever it says you want to import, just import it, and you will see a Google VR folder over here. Once you import everything, please make sure you keep saving your work, save scene. Then what you do is you search for a component called GVR viewer main. GVR viewer main, it's a prefab. You want to drag and drop it into your hierarchy, and when you play now, after dropping it here, you will see a different camera. It's binocular camera or stereoscopic camera, and you can see the world through this. And when you want to move, you just press Alt on the keyboard and move your mouse, and you can just now move and look here and there. And that's actually called navigation in terms of VR. So that's my navigation. And after that, there's one more component we need to add, and it's called GVR reticle. So I'm going to search for GVR reticle. That's where it is, and it's also a prefab. and I'm gonna this time drop it on my main camera, not just in the hierarchy but on the main camera. Okay, and when I play now, you will see actually there's a white dot in between in the center, and which actually represents the center of your vision where you're looking at. And it's in the terms of virtual reality VR terminology, it is called raycast. So I can now raycast, uh, and I can hit the objects. That's ultimately my purpose. I should be able to hit, which means I can select or manipulate them. This is called raycast. I'm gonna just rename my main camera to the player because that's what it is. Player. It's not camera, a simple camera. It's a player because the player is actually wearing the headset. And there's one more component I want to add to the camera or the player. Right click, 3D object, and 3D text, and I'm gonna call it score. Okay, so when you play it, you will not be able to see it because it's just inside your, or very close to where the camera is. So I'm gonna just move it or push it a little outside so the camera is looking at it, and I can obviously just control its position also. When you play, you can see it where it is correctly. It goes a little out. You obviously need to change the text to score because hello world is not what we want to show. So score is what we're going to show. It's a little outside. I'm going to bring it a little back, and obviously we can control from here also. Upper left is my ideal location. That's right. Alignment center. Let's see where does it take it. It's still on the outer place. I'm just going to bring it a little back. Score is still there. So it is okay. That's my score. I can see it. I'm gonna push it a little up. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's my score. And then let's go back to the script. Go to the script, and now you need to create a new script for the player, which is our camera. A new C# script. Call it player, and double click it. Here in the update method, we'll have a raycast hit object, and we'll call it hit. And if hit happens, this is what we want to do. If hit happens, check if the hit is with the fruit. And how will you know it's a fruit? Well, the fruit apples and watermelon and the orange have one thing in common, that they have the fruit script on them. So you can't just keep on hitting, floor or anything else in your game and take score. You have to hit the fruits, and the fruits have the fruit component into them, the fruit script into them. So I'll see if I have actually hit anything. So to do this, there's a if condition we need to write here called if physics dot raycast. In the brackets you have to write the position and transform dot position, comma, transform dot forward. And if it has done a hit, and I'm gonna just call it out, it has been hit, start brackets, close brackets, and there's another if here coming, and if I have actually hit something which is called fruit. So how am I gonna do it? Hit dot transform dot get component, and I'm looking for fruit. It's going to be case sensitive, exactly the same name as a script, this fruit script, because this is the one which is actually on our fruits, is not equal to null. And what I mean by that is that I'm looking for any component which does have fruit. If it doesn't have fruit, then I'm not interested to add score or do any other processing or destroying it. But if it does have the fruit component, which means it is actually a fruit, I'm going to destroy and increase the score. So the first thing I'll do is destroy hit.transform.game object. Then I want to increase the score. So how do I increase the score? I want to connect this score to the script. So I'll just write here text mesh score text box and another variable, int score, and I'll start it with 0. Yeah, score text box, go to player, you'll see, well, what kind of script is missing. Add component script, and it's the player script which I'm just developing. It has a component called text mesh. Oh, I should declare it public so it can be actually accessible to the public. So if it is there, yeah, it will come up. You drag and drop the score text mesh there. So now I have this here. So if there has been a hit, you increase the score plus plus, and then show it to the score text box. Score txt dot text is equal to score plus score. So I can now actually see my score, meaning I can actually hit something and increase the score. So let's try hitting an object. Oops, yes, score 1. I did hit it before it got destroyed. You have to hit it before it gets destroyed. Yes, looks fun. Was immediate. Yeah, watermelon immediate. Okay, there you go. 7, 8. And one more very healthy trick, very good trick I can do is, to see lots of fruits, is I can do this and I can see lots of fruits and hit them instantly. Yeah, lots of fruits, and there's my score. Look at my score. Look. Wow. 34, 35, 42, and then so many scores. I look left and right and I eat so many fruits. I'm in hundreds an instant. Oh man, come on. That's really funny. So yeah, can you believe I've reached 200, and I've actually pointed to the place where it's actually being being born or instantiated, and now I'm actually hitting them instantly as soon as they're born. All right, so that's fun. Okay, so let's pause this and I'll just push it back to where it was initially so I can hit it one at a time. Perhaps the next step would be to just instantiate it from a random place, not just a fixed place. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy or learn anything, please hit the like button, and if you have any questions, please do feel free to